You know, way before the internet connected all of us in just a split second, there was a completely different kind of network, one that stretched across the entire globe, carried on the backs of camels, and on the sails of ships. So today, we're going to explore the world's first global network, a system that really shaped history in ways you probably wouldn't expect.
So let me start with a question for you. What on earth could a bowl of pasta possibly have in common with the internet? I know, it sounds a little weird, but the answer tells this amazing story about how our world first got connected.
And there it is. Believe it or not, both pasta, or at least the idea of it, and the internet are built on the exact same concept, a global network. But this first one, it wasn't made of fiber optics. It was this massive, sprawling system of ancient trade routes that linked entire continents. We are talking about the legendary Silk Routes.
Okay, but the name Silk Routes is actually a little bit misleading. I mean, yeah, silk was definitely the superstar export coming out of China, but these pathways were buzzing with so much more. You gotta picture it like a massive international marketplace on the move.
And the sheer variety of stuff being traded, that's what's so incredible. Just imagine your caravan, it's heading west, loaded up with that shimmering Chinese silk. And then, coming the other way, you'd see carts just heavy with gold and silver from Europe. From India, you had chests of these amazing spices that were worth a fortune, plus all these vibrant textiles from all over the known world. This was, literally, the beating heart of global commerce.
But here's where the story gets really fascinating. See, the most valuable things that were exchanged on these routes, well, they weren't things you could hold in your hand at all. They were ideas. And this is just a perfect way to think about it. Long before we had fiber optics, the Silk Routes were the planet's information superhighway. They weren't just moving goods, they were moving thoughts, philosophies, and entire belief systems across thousands and thousands of miles. And this slide just shows how powerful that was. Think about it, ideas on the move. Buddhism traveled from its home in India to completely transform East Asia. Christianity found its way east along these exact same trade routes, and Islam spread across huge territories. This wasn't just business, it was this deep cultural and philosophical exchange. New art, science like mathematics from India, even new technologies like how to make paper from China. It was all carried by the merchants and the missionaries who walked these paths, and they changed every society they touched, forever.
All right, so we've gone from the profound to the delicious, because maybe the most surprising impact of the Silk Routes is sitting right there on your dinner plate. This network completely changed how the entire world ate.
I mean, we all think of pasta as being the most Italian thing ever, right? But if you ever just stopped and wondered where the idea for noodles even came from in the first place, this question really gets to the heart of how food and culture travel together.
And this right here shows the whole journey. The concept of the noodle, born in China, traveled westward with all the traders. And then, over time and across different cultures, it was adapted and tweaked and transformed into what we now know and love as pasta in places like Italy. It's an incredible culinary migration.
But wait, the story gets even bigger. Can you even picture Indian food without the potato? Or Italian cooking without the tomato? It feels totally impossible, doesn't it? But for centuries, none of those things even existed in Europe or Asia. So how did they get there?
Well, the answer is in the next great chapter of global connection. See, the networks that the Silk Routes built basically laid the groundwork for what happened next, the Columbian Exchange. After explorers like Columbus reached the Americas, traders started bringing back all these brand new foods that the old world had never, ever seen before.
Just look at this list. Potatoes, which literally became a lifeline for poor people in Europe. Tomatoes, which are now the foundation of Mediterranean food. Maize, soya, groundnuts. These are global staples now, but every single one of them started in the Americas. They just flooded into Europe and Asia, spreading super fast along those same well-traveled networks of trade. So what does this all mean when you put it together? When we look at the trade, the ideas, and the food, this really powerful picture starts to emerge about our shared history.
And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of it. We tend to think of globalization as this super modern thing, right? A product of the internet age. But as we've just seen, that urge to connect, to trade, and to share things across huge distances, that's ancient. Our modern world is really just the latest chapter in a very old story of human connection.
And that leaves us with one final thought. The next time you eat a meal, or you listen to some music, or even share an idea, just take a second to ask yourself, how much of what we call our local culture actually has its roots somewhere else in the world, brought to us on the echoes of these ancient global networks?